Hi there, I'm Lance, and this is Love to Hate, where we aim to help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to play the 2 to 4 player game Zaberias from designers Braca Gluick and Benny Goldstein, who helped sponsor this video. In Zaberias, players will control one of 4 tribes: the orcs, the guardians, the undead, or the humans. Build cities, deploy your units, and move them across the board to completely exterminate all of your opponents. For setup, choose which tribes will be played in this particular game. Each player will pick one tribe and remove the map board from the token holder for their tribe. Depending on how many players you have in your game, you will arrange the map boards in a specific formation, arranging them as such for a 2-player game, for a 3-player game, and for a 4-player game. Next, players will place one of their wood cities into the slot above the corner city on their board. It's important to note that the board holding your tribe's tokens is called the armory, and it is divided into different sections. At the bottom is where your dice are kept. You will use these in determining combat outcomes. Your coins are kept here. Go ahead and turn over 5 of them to the gold side. This is how you indicate how much gold you have to spend on your turn, and at the beginning of the game, all players have 5 gold to spend on their first turn. The next row up are your wood cities and units, followed by the metal cities and units, and on top are the gold cities and units. Lastly, roll a die to determine who goes first. And that's it for setup. Next, we'll take a look at how a turn works. In Zaberias, players will take turns going clockwise, starting with the first player. On a player's turn, you can take as many actions as you want or are able to afford. Now, there are several choices for you to take, and you can choose any of these options so long as you have the gold to be able to pay to do them. At the beginning of the game, you start with 5 gold, but every turn thereafter, the number of gold you start with is dependent on 2 things: the cities you have on the board, and if you control any gold mines. Count the number of gold coins depicted on all the cities you have on the board at the beginning of your turn. Then add 1 for each gold mine space on the board that one of your units is on top of. The total value is how many gold coins you will flip over to its gold side, indicating how much you can spend this turn. For example, I have 1 wood city here that produces 1 gold coin, and 1 metal city here that produces 2 gold coins. I also have a knight that is on top of a gold mine, which will add 1 additional coin to what I produce this turn, for a total of 4 gold coins. Note that you can only ever have at most 6 gold at any point in the game. So if you were to ever produce more than that at the start of your turn, the excess gold is lost. It's also important to note that any gold you don't spend on a turn is carried over to your next turn. Players will most likely want to deploy units to get them out on the board to move around and attack the other players and control their cities. To do this, a player will need to deploy a unit. This is done by paying the cost of the gold that is indicated on the unit here. To pay gold, simply flip over your gold tokens to their fated side. You will then place the unit in any city you control that does not currently have a unit already in it, whether one of your own or another player's unit. Note that some units are considered to be flying units, and even though they are flying and not technically on the ground, a flying unit in a city will still prevent a player from deploying another unit in that city. Another type of action in Zaberias is to upgrade your cities. Now, technically, you're never building cities in this game, as anytime you move into a vacant one or you take over an opponent's city, you automatically replace it with one of your wooden cities for free. We'll cover that in more details later on. However, you will want to upgrade your cities, changing them from wood to metal and metal to gold, as this will help produce more income for you on your turn and increase the number of dice that you get to roll in defense rolls. To upgrade a city, simply pay the gold printed on the city standee that you are wanting to upgrade to. 2 gold for a metal city, and 3 gold for a gold city. Swap out the city you want to replace with your new city, putting back the old city on your tribe board. Note that you are not able to upgrade a wood city straight to a gold city, and must first upgrade it to a metal city. However, on the same turn a player upgraded a wood city to a metal city,
They can then upgrade the metal city to a gold city, so long as they still have enough gold to do so.
Once you have units on the board, you can take the move action to move them to places throughout the board. Now, each unit can only move once on each of your turns, so choose wisely when and how you go about doing that.
To move a unit, look at the number next to the move icon on a unit's piece here. This number tells you the maximum number of spaces this unit may move on a turn. You can move fewer than this number if you choose, but you cannot split the movement with another action, meaning you could not move one space, take a different action such as to attack someone, and then move the rest of your movement. Units can move over any terrain except water, although certain units like the mermaid can break this rule. They can also only move orthogonally, left, right, up, and down. And typically they do not move diagonally, unless they move along a road such as this one here. Units can never be in the same space as another unit, regardless of whether it is one of your units or an enemy's. And this is also true whether you are ending your movement or just simply passing through a space. You can never have more than one unit in the same space. The exception to this is if you are moving a flying unit, such as the dragon here. Flying units may move through spaces with friendly or enemy units, so long as they don't end their movement there.
There are special places throughout the land of Zaberias that you'll want to move your units to so that you can control them for the special benefits that they give.
Moving one of your units on the gold mine here provides you an extra coin at the beginning of your turn. Having a unit on the power star here will provide you a +1 bonus during all attack and defense rolls. And lastly, moving onto a portal space allows you to teleport to other portals. For instance, I can move this unit here with a maximum move of 4 onto and through this portal here to go to this portal here, where I can finish out my movement if I choose.
Knowing how to deploy and move your units on the board is important because it allows you to attack the enemy units, which is kind of the whole point of the game. Now, each unit can only attack once on each turn, so again, you'll want to choose wisely when and how you go about doing that. Let's take a look at how combat works with both attacking and defending.
To attack a unit, declare which unit or units of yours you will be using for this attack. Make sure that you are within range to be able to attack with this unit. For instance, this archer here has a ranged attack of 2, as indicated by this icon and number. This means it can attack any enemy unit that's within 2 spaces of it, such as the skeleton right here. This knight here has no ranged attack, so he can only attack other enemy units that are adjacent to him. This is called a melee attack.
To resolve combat, players will count up the strength on all of their units involved in the combat, as well as the dice icons, which show you how many dice you get to roll, which you'll add to your strength as well. Whoa, that's a good roll!
For example, using this unit here to attack the enemy here gives me a strength of 5 as indicated by this number here. The 2 dice seen next to this number indicates that I will also roll 2 attack dice. The outcome of the dice roll is added to my attack value. Don't forget, if you control any power star spaces, you also get to add 1 to your attack value for each power star you control.
Attackers always roll their dice and add their collective attack value together before defenders roll any of their dice. This is a rule to prevent attackers from claiming they didn't actually want to attack the defender once they saw how well their dice roll is. That's just cheating.
The defender will now roll their dice as indicated on the unit that is being attacked. The outcome of their dice roll is added to their collective strength. And again, don't forget to add 1 to your defense value for each power star you control. Defenders may also use other units that are within range to help defend against the attack, but can only use the strength value from these units and not the dice. For example, this paladin here is attacking this dark angel here, and because the acid spitter is within range, the red player could use the defense value of the acid spitter to protect against the attack from the paladin. They will not get to roll the dice printed on the acid spitter, but the red player will get to add 1 to their overall defense value.
Whoever has the highest total wins the combat. If that's the attacker, remove the defending unit that the attacker identified as the target for this attack from the board, even if the defender used multiple units for their defense. If instead the defender wins the combat, then remove the attacking unit.
Multiple units can be used at one time in order to attack an enemy unit. This is called an ambush. The combat rules for an ambush are the same as for normal attacks, except the attacking player must declare which of his or her units they are using for this attack prior to rolling any dice for any of them. Once decided, the attacking player will then roll any dice each unit produces, one at a time, in order to determine the collective attack strength. For example, the blue player could declare an attack against the Dark Angel here with both the Paladin and the Mermaid, since they are both within range. The blue player would roll 2 dice for the Paladin, and then roll 1 die for the Mermaid.
Defending against ambush attacks is much the same as regular attacks. The defending player gets to use any nearby units that are within range and add them to their defense value. Now, resolving an ambush attack is slightly different. If the attacking player wins, then their target, the one they identified as who they were attacking, that unit is removed from the board. However, if the defending player were to win the ambush attack, then all the units the attacking player used in that attack are removed from the board. So there is a higher risk for the attacking player when declaring an ambush attack. So make sure you're going to win before you declare it.
There's one additional rule with combat that involves ranged attacks. If the defender were to win against a ranged attack, and they were to have a ranged attack as well, then the attacking unit is destroyed and removed from the board. However, if the defending unit did not have a ranged attack, then the attacking unit is safe and it is not removed from the board, since the defending unit had no way of harming them. For example, this archer here has a ranged attack, and is attacking this acid spitter here, who also has a ranged attack. If the acid spitter were to win the battle, because the acid spitter has a ranged attack, the archer would be removed from the board since he's within range. If instead the archer were attacking this giant crow here, the archer would be safe since the giant crow does not have a ranged attack, and the archer is not adjacent to the giant crow.
Players will not only want to remove the opponent's units from the board, but they'll also want to take over their cities as well.
To take over an opponent's city is considered to be an attack, and remember, each unit only gets 1 attack each turn. What this means is that if I had already used this unit here to attack another enemy unit, I would have to wait until my next turn before attacking this enemy's city here in order to take it over. Attacks on cities are resolved the same way as normal attacks. The attacker will determine their base attack value, roll their allotted number of dice, and add the outcome to their attack value, along with any bonuses they may receive. The defending city will determine their defense value by rolling a number of dice as printed on the city piece, in addition to any dice that are printed on a unit that is inside the city. Much the same as in attacks against unit, the defender may use nearby units that are within range to help defend against city attacks, but may only use their defense strength and not their dice rolls. If the attacker wins, remove the defending city and replace it with one of the attacker's wood cities if they have one. This is done for free, so you do not have to pay the coin printed on the wood city. If they do not have a wood city available, then the city space remains vacant. If the defending city were to have a unit on it, the defending player will also add this unit's defense value and dice to their defense total. The attacking player will be declaring an attack against both the city and the enemy unit within the city, and combat is resolved the same way. If the defender wins the attack, the attacking unit is only removed from the board if the defending unit had a ranged attack.
Also note that attacking a city with a ranged unit from afar will not result in that unit being removed from the board in the event that the defender wins, because cities have no range and they can't attack other enemy units that are not within the city.
Note, a player can move one of their units into an unoccupied enemy city and choose not to attack. In this instance, the enemy player may initiate an attack on their turn against the invading player's unit. Combat would be resolved the same way.
When a player is the last tribe having any cities or units on the board, then the game is over, and that player has conquered the land, becoming the champion of Zaberias. Now, do note that there are additional rules not covered in this video that address each tribe and the units within those tribes. I'll leave you to discover those on your own by checking out the link down below in the description of this video for Zaberias' website, where the designers of this game have created other videos to address all of the different rules that go along with the different units. But that's all you need to know in order to play Zaberias. If you do have any questions about the rules listed in this video, please leave them down in the comments below, and I'll address them whenever I get the opportunity. Creating how to play videos and other videos on Love to Hate takes a tremendous amount of time and effort. And so if you enjoy these videos, please give us a like, thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel to let us know that you enjoy our videos. I'm Lance, and this is Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.